Hello, my name is Corey Angelot, and I'm here to tell you the most important freedom projects happening today. And I'm going to be going over the Earth Council, a historic meeting that took place on April 17th, 2024, for the future of humanity. As Martin Luther King Jr. stated, quote, "Those who love peace must learn to organize as well as those who love war," end quote. This would not be an underestimation if we simply took a look at the powerful speakers and collaborators part of this meeting, known together as the Earth Council, otherwise known as the Council of 12. Founded by visionaire Jim Gale and directed by Lindsey Brandon, this council was created with the intention that the freedom leaders of the world may connect and meet at a heart level together to brainstorm real action in a troubling world. They recognize that humanity needs their help more than ever, and that the solutions are present and simply need to be brought to the world's people. The meeting was hosted by the Inspired Network with Dr. Andrea Nazarenko and Dr. Alyssa and Susie Olson-Corgan. Let us observe just how necessary it is that this council comes together with their long-lived expertise in serving the community and creating a truly free world more and more every single day. This will garner inspiration for ourselves and others, as well as to help projects, unique ideas, and solutions oriented around freedom, health, and sustainable living all around the world, and literally to come to life and demonstrate what is possible. In the meeting, many of the council members introduced themselves and shared their monumental backgrounds. Many of these members experienced all sorts of struggles on their journey, but they have persevered and proved themselves to be the leaders that go on to create other leaders. Let us hear just a brief introduction of each member, as for what was mentioned on the call. Pat Miletich was a 5-time UFC world champion, known by many as the toughest man in the world. He then became a coach for others to become world champions, and now he is a soil savior because he realized that our soil is the key to life and the foundation to our food. There's also Dr. Elaine Ingham, and she is a professor of soil bacteria microorganism ecology, and she shares with us that with this knowledge that she has and many others part of this meeting has, we won't have any problems with disease or nutrition. She states, quote, "We don't need to convert the entire world, as people will actively want to replicate the systems that are healthy and not the ones that are based on toxins." In addition, she states that we can increase yields by at least 20 to 50%, but typically by 300%, and as the knowledge has been growing, they have consistently seen yields upwards of 3,000%. Dr. Will Spencer is known by many as a national treasure, since he spent decades after being injured through the agriculture industry, putting together formulas to bring fertility juice to the masses and soil solutions that can literally eat heavy metals and toxins and produce bioavailable fatty acids. This is just one example of turning the world's biggest problems into the world's biggest solutions. Rowdy Meyer, or Tag, is described as a free man who is commonly known as the most successful land developer in the United States, as he has built communities on around 1,200 acres with over 13 deals done of $300 million to over $1 billion. I mean, just look and imagine these people all coming together for this Earth Council. What an amazing group of people. We have Marjory Wildcraft, and she is known as the female leader of the preparedness movement, and she has impacted more than 4.5 million people. There's also Charles A. Thompson, and he is an energy expert and world-class entrepreneur who has met with leading suppliers of home goods. He is a leader of the off-grid movement. There's also Kevin Fretz, and he is the CEO of Patriot Greens, which has been pioneering the organics industry since 1991. He is also a leading consultant for regenerative agriculture, horticulture, and soil food web science with over 32 years of professional experience. There's also McKinley Hlady, and he is the founder of New Energy World, who focuses on building the infrastructure to build new and better systems, which makes the current and old systems completely obsolete in many ways. With 3D steel frame construction as only one of their methods, their goal is to recycle and repurpose the military-industrial complex. There's also Joel Salatin, and he is known as America's most iconic regenerative farmer. He recognized that animals are an integral part of the environment and the food system, as notoriously mentioned in his TED Talk. With 890 million acres of farmland, which has been laden with chemicals, he tells us that 10% of that farmland can be used to feed the entire Americas using permaculture. Farms don't need to be dependent on any facility, government, or even any seed, he says, since we can work with nature's already made systems. There's also Lisa Mollison, and she is lifetime dedicated to regeneration via permaculture, and she is the keeper of the Permaculture Institute's vast library. Her husband, Bill Mollison, is known as the father of permaculture. The 3 principles of permaculture were stated as, quote, caring for the people, caring for our land, and reinvesting our excess to care for people and our land. Through putting these principles in action and seeing how beneficial they can be, the best thing people can do with their surplus is to build a community of life around them. There's also Theo Fleury, and he was a hockey legend and now a trauma expert and author. He led his team to the Olympic gold medal and then another team to the Stanley Cup championship. He came to understand over time that all of the world's problems are rooted in trauma. Becoming more known by this revelation, over 1 million people with sexual abuse have said to him that he told their story. With over 900 speeches on trauma, mental health, and addiction, he has stated to make it clear that this is the real pandemic. John Baxter and his work was awarded with the world's greatest health technology of 2024 by Bloomberg, and he has become the top honey producer in the state of Florida. With his scalable models, he became a lead innovator in the mattress industry, went viral 3 to 4 times, and holds over 70 different technologies, from holding patents on zero gravity technology and grounding technology to having pending patents including Tesla medbeds. He tells us that these technologies represent the future of healthcare, which also will be at home. Now, Jim Gale, being a primary organizer of the Earth Council, is the founder of Food Forest Abundance and Freedom Farm Academies, which Matthew Britt, who was on call, shares with us as providing the model blueprint for abundance and freedom. As a demonstration, Jim has set up a 50-acre property in Central Florida called Galt's Landing, which is 100% off-grid with all the food, energy, and water needs provided on site. He states that he did not ask for permission to build houses, and when he was confronted by someone from the state county, they ended up with tears in their eyes 20 minutes later as they couldn't help but be a supporter of his project. Jim tells us that the way we communicate the message is important, and that the Earth Council has proven that they are not only aware of what's happening, but that they are also demonstrating the solution. On the meeting, other individuals started to participate to share their innovative projects. For instance, you had Michael Masoncheck, who mentions his project Unitree, which serves as a decentralized system using the blockchain, where instead of storing your money in a bank, you can store your money in a forest bank, he says. He tells us that it is a self-sustaining system, where you will help create a regenerative economy of projects contributing to other projects. Dr. Darrell Wolf, also being on call, mentions that he has spent over $200,000 to create what he calls the most powerful and biggest health app, called Braveheart Nation. Jim Gale is said to have a show on this app titled Seeds of Abundance. The app is planned to be released August 8th, and it can hold 120 shows. In addition to this, he stated that he is building a 35 by 50 foot studio that could be used by people if they have any message to share with the world. Events were also mentioned, such as the Crimes Against Humanity Tour, which launches June 15th in St. Louis, and the Homefront Essentials Skills class on food production and preparedness, with already over 8,900 registrants. It is evident that this is just a short teaser of the many projects that are happening around the world, as the Earth Council in this meeting is just the beginning, just the start. It is said that there will be different topics each month, and you may join their email list for updates. Not expecting leaders to change, the Earth Council plans to be the change and invite the current systems and influencers to participate with them. As Jim Gale tells us, we must overcome and stand together. We must become centered and present. We must have faith and courage. Dr. Wolf tells us that 90% of our brain is our subconscious, and that, quote, we've all been programmed to go to war with ourselves and with each other, end quote, but that we can change that. Dr. Nazarenko clarifies on the call, saying that we don't need to agree with each other and that we simply need to create the world that we want. And here at the Liberator 2 News, we would call this concept voluntarism, the idea that we can create a free world based on voluntary interactions and the truly free market, rather than coercion and the use of government. Our goal is to showcase the untold and most essential connections in the freedom movement around the world. It is due to projects like the Earth Council that we have started our own projects as well, and we hope to work with anyone who welcomes our efforts. To our knowledge, none of these projects have ever been done before, as this work is seen to be crucial for the future of humanity. All this work is very much new, you may say, when in reality we're often just reviving a lot of ancient wisdom as well. One of our projects is called Statism Diagnosed, and this is an alternative title for a project that we have which is focused on evaluating the collective trauma of humanity down to the root cause of all evil, which author and screenwriter Larkin Rose calls statism, or the most dangerous superstition. This project consists of several medical professionals and whistleblowers, the key members being Stephanie Moe Davis, Scott Gordon, Leslie Powers, and myself, Corey Engelot. We have been gathering medical literature and resources for the past year and have gathered hundreds of books and quotes. Eventually it will be turned into a seminar and maybe even a book. The Liberator 2 Showcase is an open collaborative project which allows anyone from anywhere to participate through the use of a simple 1-minute clip to be shared on the most impactful platforms of our generation, namely TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. All you need to do is record yourself answering the question, what is most important that people need to know? This unique format allows us to have a discussion of each clip and even optional interviews. We have gathered over 50 different speakers and hundreds of resources, also as a continuation of the End of Slavery Summit of 2022, which featured influencers such as David Icke, Mark Passio, Derek Brose, Richard Gage, Dana Martin, and Larkin Rose. We have also announced a project inspired by Galt's Landing to build a food forest community education center in Central West Coast Florida, around the Odessa, Keystone, and Tampa area, as not only a headquarters of the Liberator 2 News and our content creation, it will include off-grid Airbnbs, a library, a tea house, and other ideas to bring in the younger generations, a gym, a nursery, a farmer's market, just for some examples, with continual events and networking to serve as a unique epicenter local to the fastest growing city in America, that's Tampa. Through our events, we have gathered all the staff and resources to make this possible, but our efforts are on hold due to the problem of attaining land and seeing how rather expensive it can be. We have raised around $300,000 through just several members so far, but we are evaluating all our options. And we have a fantastic ROI model, a return on investment model, because it's off-grid portable mushroom farming, and it's also highly sustainable and it can generate millions every single year. And that was pitched by a core member. His name is Tony from Really Good Farms. Anyone is welcome to help make this project possible for us, because when this is made possible, we will help other people set up their projects as well. The Liberator 2 News is the main correlative project to all these other projects that we have going on, and it's named after the leading 19th century abolitionist newspaper, The Liberator, as edited by William Lloyd Garrison. As totally independent and free, anyone can network either in real life or online using the website. They can send articles and we will turn them into videos. They may even share their events or activism or be interviewed to share their experience. Many unique strategies to create action are also shared, and we've established the first Truth Music Radio, a comprehensive quiz focused on freedom, and even an AI chat which can help you question your own beliefs. Being a voluntarist news outlet, it is entirely anti-political in its efforts, also setting up the Never Vote campaign and the Nature is the Answer movement. We have written a comprehensive 400+ page book featuring over 200 different philosophers, psychologists, and former slaves and abolitionists about the root cause problem and solution to all evil, and I mean that, all evil, citing the successful efforts throughout history in the deep psychology of tyranny, which is called slavery gone for good. For anyone in the Earth Council or any school professors, we are willing to provide this book for you for free. Recently, we've also assisted with providing data for Natural News and Mike Adams and his new AI LLM chat model called Neo. So be sure to check all these things out. Slavery Gone for Good is a book that I'm now republishing because it's one of my first books I've ever published, and this one is groundbreaking. I think everyone must read it. The Earth Council and the Liberator 2 News is on the way to ensure that the future of humanity and our evolution is headed toward a truly better tomorrow. Past division, past endless cycles of death and democide, past barbaric systems of inequality and ideologies pushed upon our fellow man, we seek to uphold the golden rule and everything that makes us beautifully human and to optimize our potential. Thank you for watching this video. Please let us know your thoughts and help us allow reality to become a reality and that dreamed of future to become the present. Permaculture is the future. As Bill Mollison tells us, though the problems of the world are increasingly complex, the solutions remain embarrassingly simple. Voluntarism is the future. As Aubryn Herbert tells us, the great choice lies before you. No nation stands still. It must move in one direction or the other. Either the state must grow in power, imposing new burdens and compulsions, and the nation sink lower and lower into a helpless quarreling crowd, or the individual must gain his own rightful freedom, become master of himself, creature of none, confident in himself and in his own qualities, confident in his power to plan and to do, and determined to end this old world, profitless and worn-out system of restrictions and compulsions, which is not good or healthy even for the children. Once we realize the waste and the folly of striving against each other, once we feel in our hearts that the worst use to which we can turn human energies is gaining victories over each other, then we shall at last begin in true earnest to turn the wilderness into a garden and to plant all the best and fairest of the flowers where now only the nettles and the briars grow. I think this is telling in multiple regards for our world. Thank you for watching. TheLiberator.us. This is Corey Angelat signing out.